Hello again, Christina Forbes, your wife of seriously injured worker Lauren Forbes. So I thought what I'd do is I'd move on to part 2 of the vocational rehabilitation planning benefits and kind of lumping it all into one when dealing with the letter that we got. So as I stated in the other video, Lauren has been provided with over 70 weeks of vocational rehabilitation. That's for the graphic design, which was turned down, the photo finishing and greenhouse management, which was turned down, the GIS, which is Global Information Systems, was also turned down. So now we're moving on to drafting, AutoCAD drafting, which is now the fourth thing that we're working on. So now, as we all know, WorkSafeBC, or workers' compensation, only allows injured workers 26 weeks of retraining. That's it, 26 weeks. It took longer for me to get my hairdressing license. My hairdressing course was a 52-week course. But yet they only allow seriously injured workers or injured workers that are unable to return to their previous post-injury employment 26 weeks of retraining. What the heck can someone that's been doing, drywall or construction or logging for, 18, 20 plus years, what can they be retrained to do? There's not much to do in 26 weeks. I mean, the drafting program that they've got Lauren set up for is only entrance drafting. He's got to further his education past the 26 weeks that they have him entitled to. So what do you do if the program that they've got you up to or signed up for requires training past that 26 weeks? I mean, you've got to review, you've got to beg for money. I mean, what if you can't do a student loan to pay for that upgrading? I mean, 26 weeks is all they allow these injured workers for retraining, and that in itself is an absolute joke. That is ridiculous. I mean, these men, these ladies, they've spent, the better part of their entire life, building foundations for a solid career that supports themselves financially and so on and so forth, and now are only entitled to 26 weeks of retraining. That'll bring them up to their post earnings before their injury. Now, what if, though, they can't return to their previous employment? Or what if they can't find employment that brings them up to their previous earnings before they were injured? So this is where we get into the permanent functional impairments and the loss of earnings awards. Now, as we all know, the loss of earnings awards is a fucking joke. Nobody gets loss of earnings. It's all permanent functional impairments right across the board. So let's get into this thing that we have here. Every worker's seen it. It's called the Workers Advisor Fact Sheet. Oh, there it is. And we're going to talk about permanent disability awards and loss of earnings, and this little thing that they have called the So Exceptional test. Yes, I shit you not, that's exactly what it's called, the So Exceptional test. Let me just find that on here. So anyways, as I move along here, we're going to talk about permanent functional disability award. Now, some of you are entitled to these due to your permanent functional impairments and disabilities that you'll have for the rest of your life. Now, okay, so changes to the Workers' Compensation Act on June 30th, 2002 created new rules for permanent disability awards. Even if you were injured before June 30th, 2002, these changes may apply to your claim if the first sign of your permanent disability occurred on or after that date. So there's two types of permanent disability awards. Your permanent disability award will be paid to you in one of two ways. You'll receive a permanent functional impairment award or a loss of earnings award, which is known as an LOE. In most cases, the WCB will decide that a permanent functional award will be paid. Most cases, try 95.9% of cases. If the WCB finds that your disability and effect of your disability on your occupation is so exceptional that a permanent functional award does not properly compensate you, then you may get an LOE. Right there. So exceptional. Oh, let me just... Right there, do you see that? So exceptional in brackets. So, let's see here what exactly is entitled to the so exceptional. The case manager accepts which conditions and injuries are permanent and may result in a disability. A case manager decides those. The case manager makes a referral to the Disabilities Award Department for an assessment of those specific conditions. If the case manager finds that you do not have a permanent disability or does not refer all of your permanent conditions, then you may ask for this decision in writing. If you disagree with the case manager's decision, you must request a review of the decision letter within 90 days of the date of the letter. So, let's carry on here. Okay, so what must you have in order to receive loss of earnings or permanent functional impairment? You must have medical evidence, such as a doctor's report, which explains the ongoing problems related to your work injury and that these problems are permanent. If, for example, your doctor says that you have limited joint movement or loss of strength that is not going to get better, the doctor should say how this is related to your injury. So what happens when your claim is referred to the Disability Department? Once your claim is referred to the Disabilities Award Department, you'll be examined by a medical professional who measures the loss of function because of the injury. This measurement is called a permanent functional impairment, or PFI. Loss of function is measured as a percentage of the whole body. So, the main resource used by the WCB to measure your loss of function is the Permanent Disability Evaluation Schedule. This schedule gives percentages for disabilities based on the WCB's assessment of average income loss. The WCB also uses an additional factors outline which gives percentages for conditions that are not in the Permanent Disability Evaluation Schedule. The WCB may also use the American Medical Association's Guide to the Evaluation of Permanent Impairments. Factors that may affect the PFI award are proportionate entitlement, enhancement, and devaluation. If you have a workplace injury which increases a disability you already have, then the WCB will measure how much your permanent disability is due to the workplace injury. If your disability award is then based on the amount of the disability caused by the workplace injury. This is called proportionate entitlement. The WCB will look at the combined effects of the two or more disabilities from a workplace injury, and this award is increased. This is called the enhancement or decreased, which is called devaluation. So, the WCB awards are based on how the injury affects the average person's ability to earn money. The WCB does not pay for pain and suffering. The WCB will send you a letter setting out the details of your permanent functional award and your appeal options, of course. Most pension steps stops here at the first step. The WCB goes on to the second step if you have not returned to your work or regular job. Well, here we are. Lauren, as well as John, have not returned to work or their regular jobs yet. See loss of earnings award for the next step. Well, loss of earnings award for the next step. Well, this was never mentioned to us. So, is Lauren entitled to a loss of earnings award? Is John entitled to a loss of earnings award? I'm sure a few of you are also entitled to a loss of earnings award. Let's just flip this over. I am probably going to have to do this in a 3-part series. Please click on part 3. It'll be right up after this one. So, how is a permanent functional award calculated? Your percentage of disability, or PFI, is applied to the long-term wage rate. This rate is set after the first 10 weeks of your disability. For more information, please read our fact sheet called the 10-Week Wage Rate Review. So, let's just see. If you have a net wage rate of $3,500 per month and a PFI of 5%, your permanent disability is calculated as follows. The average net earning, or long-term wage rate, was set at $3,500 per month. Compensation factor, 90% of the net earnings. So, $3,500 times 90% is $3,150. So, $3,150 per month. Your permanent disability times that by 5. 5% is $157 per month. So now, excuse me, I got an itch. Chronic pain is only awarded at 2.5. That is the most that they pay seriously injured workers for chronic pain, is 2.5. So what is 2.5% of $3,500 per month? Not very fucking much. But yet this is what's happening. You know, and it's very, very sad. So I'm going to just cut this. Please look for VocRehab Rehabilitation Benefits Part 3.